What's up, everyone? My name is Evan Sarakis, and I'm the founder of New York City Hoop School. With this video, I'm going to be going through the preseason program that we just built on the brand new NYC Hoop School app. With this preseason program, it's going to put you in a position to have a successful upcoming season. For 99% of players, at least from the college level and below, they just show up to their season. Sure, they have a successful off-season. Sure, they are working out in the preseason. But what they don't do is they don't prepare their mind. And that's what most players do. They get their bodies right. They get their game right. But what they don't do is they don't get their minds right. And I'm sure you've heard this before. Most of the game is all about your mental. Well, how do you get that prepared? It's taking the time to outline and get your mind right for the season. And this is what this video is all about. This video is all about showing you how a preseason program can help you do that. To do this, I'm actually going to bring it back to myself because I am a current college basketball player. I am a fifth-year senior at St. Joseph's University in Brooklyn. I was a four-year college basketball player. And now since COVID year gave me an extra year of eligibility, I'm using that year, and so now I'm a fifth-year senior. Going into this season, I truly wanted to play the best basketball of my life. I went all in the off season. I've been all in the preseason, and I will be all in during the season because this is my last year playing college basketball. I'm valuing every single minute of it. The reason why I'm saying this is because I put together a program that has 5 moves that put me in a position to have a successful preseason, which led to a lot of results, and I know it would help you too. So this program was outlined with 5 moves. Move number 1 was getting in tune with yourself. Move number 2 was building relationships. Move number 3 was following the preseason essentials. Move number 4 was going all in on your self-improvement. And move number 5 was preparing your in-season mindset. In the course on the app, there are very detailed points that help guide you through this. So just to give you a quick example here, with move number 1, it was all about getting in tune with yourself. And there was 20 tune-up reflection questions, as we called them. So there was 10 questions that talked about you off court, and there were 10 questions about you on court. And the whole point of this was to help you understand that you are a human first and a basketball player second. A lot of people have it mixed, where they think their success as a basketball player is part of them as a human being, and that's all wrong. It leads to a lot of anxiety, it leads to a lot of pressure, and it does not lead to results. What you've got to understand is you are a human first and a basketball player second, right? I'm Evan Sarakis, and I play at St. Joseph's University. I have a bad game, I'm a bad person. You've got to detach that, and a lot of players have that mixed. So move number 1 was all about getting in tune with yourself, understanding that perspective of being a human first, basketball player second, and it guided you through everything. So first 10 questions were off court about your purpose in life, your priorities, your lifestyle, etc., etc. And then the last 10 questions, 11 through 20, was just like your on court. So, why do you play basketball? What do you enjoy about it? What are the top values you bring to a team? A full tune-up with yourself. Now you might be thinking, well, how does that help me in season? If you're in tune with yourself, you put yourself in a position to serve your teammates and your coaches. If you put yourself in a position to serve others, you have a positive energy around you, right? You know those people in your life that have a vibration to them, right? They're positive, they're high energy, they're happy, they're very happy people with goals. When you get in tune with yourself, you become that person. So just by going through move number 1, you're putting yourself in a position to be successful this season. Let's go to move number 2. Move number 2 was all about building relationships. So we walked through this step by step, but it's getting a relationship with your coaches, your teammates, the people around the organization. It's building trust, how to be a leader. So that now, if you're building relationships with people, when the season begins, you're not a stranger, right? You're not going to see your teammates for the first time when the season starts. You're not just going to go ask for favors for staff members to maybe open up a closet for you to get basketballs, or to stay later to get into the weight room or the gym. There's a relationship there already, right? This is all about being strategic. Move number 3 was all about the preseason essentials. This is where we got extremely detailed, and we talked about the body, your individual skills, and your team. We could get extremely detailed within one, hence we have it in the course. But it was like, okay, your body, it's focusing on being healthy, getting in tune with your body, getting in shape, how you should be lifting, injury prevention stuff you should be having, the routines you should have in place, all about your body. Then it was about your individual skills, like what should you be doing from an individual skill standpoint? How should you be getting your IQ sharp? What can you do to simulate the game in your workouts? Are you going live? Are you adding an accountability? That's from a skill standpoint, individuality. And then it was the team aspect, right? Do you understand your game, how you can, apply your skill set to a team environment? Do you know, the number one thing that you need to do, what gaps you have to find on your team where you can get more playing time? Again, this is strategy, right? If you're strategic with how you're approaching your development in the preseason, that could fuel a very successful season for you. So those are 3 moves right there. And if you want to see move 4 and move 5, dive into the program in the New York City Hoop School app. But the point that I'm trying to make here is you've got 5 moves that can help you have a successful season. Why not go through them? Sure, it takes you an hour, 2 hours to go through the full program, but by getting your mind right, it's going to help you have that success that you're looking for. What I always tell people is you've got your in-season, you've got your off-season. The bridge between the two is your preseason, right? So if you want to have a successful in-season, you've got to have a successful off-season. That bridge between both is that preseason. This program is the bridge for you. We have another course available for you on the New York City Hoop School app to structure your off-season, and we could talk about that, at a different time. But if you want to have a successful season, you've got to backtrack. Okay, I want to be a successful player this season. I've got to have a successful preseason, and I've got to have a successful off-season. So that's the outline of the program. That's how we outlined it with the 5 moves and the benefits that you would get from it. Now let me give you a live example of how I would go through this program. So inside the course, I do give some live examples. I won't go over it again. But what I will do is just talk about my experience using this program, and maybe there's a few key takeaways that you could take from it as well. Let's begin. So before I even talk about the preseason, I want to briefly talk about the off-season, because as we mentioned, everything is connected. So from an off-season standpoint, I took the whole month of March off after my season. I was fully burnt out, and I began my off-season April 1st. So I went through April, May, June, July, August, September. It was 6 months of an off season. And what I did with those 6 months is I fully ramped up month to month. So when I first came back in April, right, I just rebuilt the foundation of my body. I was doing a lot of isometrics in the weight room and some movement and mobility. And I was slowly ramping back up on court because I deal with a lot of tendonitis. And then I slowly ramped up where now I'm increasing my lifts, I'm increasing my movement, I'm adding in conditioning, I'm playing more games, I was in a lot of men's leagues. From an off-season standpoint, this is one of the most successful off-seasons I've ever had in my life. Just from an experience standpoint, I knew what I needed. And so I filled every bucket I needed in my off-season. I felt like I had a super successful off-season. Heading into the preseason now, I just continued that ramp up. So as I mentioned before, I was ramping up in the weight room, on court, in the leagues. I did the same thing in the preseason. I was ramping up the amount of basketball I was playing, the conditioning I was doing, the lifting I was doing. So now I'm putting on a load on my body where now I'm not going to put myself in a position to get hurt when the season starts. A lot of players, their season starts and their load goes from here to here, right? They might be playing basketball 1 to 2 times a week, and then all of a sudden they go 6 days a week and their body's in shock. I didn't want that to happen to me. It was actually the opposite, where my load right now is here, and probably in season it'll be here, which is actually a good thing due to the fact that now I'm able to perform with that extra breathing room. So that's how that off season went for me. And then in the preseason, one thing that I did do that maybe you can find some benefit from it is I ran cross country. Running cross country helped me get in really good shape and helped motivate me from a running standpoint, where I'm not just running for no reason, I was competing on those runs. And so I was running these 5-mile races, and I'm trying to improve my pace and my time every single week out, But what it did is it gave me small goals to now get in better shape. So that was one thing I added in my preseason on top of what I did in the offseason. And then from a program standpoint, this is what I really wanted to get into, is I was constantly getting in tune with myself. So, when September hit, I got very real with myself saying, my season begins in 6 weeks. I want to prepare for this, right? I've put in all this work in the past 6 months. Let me bridge this gap now. So now let me get my mind right. So I really just got in tune with myself, right? These reflection questions that are in the program are reflection questions that I've processed through these past 6 weeks where I was like, players would get the most benefit out of it. So I'll just pick one of these out of a hat. What actions make you feel confident? And I just got in tune with that, right? So what makes me feel confident? I know that when I execute my day plan, I feel super confident. When I'm giving myself, I am statements, I am the player of the year. I am the best trainer in the world. I am a high performance person. When I give myself those statements out loud in front of a mirror, I get confidence from that. When I'm reading and I'm improving my knowledge, or I'm going to a conference and I'm learning, that gives me a ton of confidence from a skill standpoint. When I'm reflecting, when I go for a walk and I reflect about my days or my weeks, or I'm doing a monthly analysis, that gives me confidence. So just from that one question, notice how I was able to get in tune with myself. I know that when there's a low point in the season, there's ways and outlets for me to build confidence. That's just one way I did it. How do you build confidence? It's something that you've got to process as well. Because if you're not in tune with yourself, as we mentioned earlier, you can't put yourself in a position to serve others. And so the whole thing with move number one of just getting in tune with yourself is, I want to be in a position to serve my teammates. I'm a fifth-year senior that needs to be a leader for my team. If I'm not in tune with myself, I can't serve others. So I've been locked in on that. And starting with my season this Sunday, so right now it's Wednesday, the season starts on Sunday, I'm mentally ready. I've had a super successful preseason tune-up. I'm ready to go for that Sunday mentally. Something to think about how you can do that as well, because I'm seeing tremendous benefits from it, right? We had these earlier practices where we had 3 days before the season begins. So our season begins October 15th. We really had 8 days. We only used 3 of them. And so with those 3 days, I treated it like the Super Bowl. I had it on my calendar. I said, star, star, star. I knew we had workouts these days. I'm like, I want to perform. And I remember day 1, I didn't perform well. I really reflected on it. Like, I went through the whole process. I reflected on it. And what ended up happening is day 2 and day 3, I crushed it. I was flat out the best player in the gym. I was the leader that I was supposed to be. And then so day 1 ended up going in the trash. And they look at me day 2 and day 3. The coaches have confidence. I have confidence. My teammates have confidence in me. I'm feeling really good about that. So these were tools that extremely, extremely valuable for me to get my mind right, and it led to performance on the court. It's the reason why I share them with you. Heading into move number 2 with the relationships. So during the preseason, I was really intentional about the relationships I'm building. And it's not from a manipulation standpoint. Like, I am genuinely building relationships, but it's strategic, right? So we have the AD, we have the academic advisor, we have the marketing director. All 3 of them are on the same level. I was just passing by their offense once or 2 times a week. Hey, how you doing? Quick question. What can I do for you? Building that relationship. Same thing with the athletic trainer. Building the relationships there. Hey, how you doing? How was your summer? I'm having these pains. Can you help me? I'm just building a relationship there. Even with my professors, I'm being super strategic with that. Like, who knows if I ever get in academic trouble, I've got a relationship with the professors where in the fact that, like, let's say I failed 2 tests. I've got a relationship with them. I talk with them. Hey, my name is... I'm not a stranger to them. So now, if I ever needed a favor, there's a relationship there. With the security guards, I bought them fruit. So there was a day where I bought these plums for them. Here, have some fruit. You want some? Like, and then we chopped it up. We built a relationship. And so, just from that, you can see that I'm building relationships around the organization. And then, of course, I'm building relationships with my teammates, right? The workouts, we're talking with them. I'm working out with them. I made an effort to, make sacrifices out of my day to go out to Brooklyn and work out with them. I'm calling up my coaches. All of this is the relationships I'm building. It's just leverage, right? If you're someone that does not communicate with anybody, you have zero leverage. There's no leverage for you to do anything. But if you have a relationship with your team, with the coaches, with the staff, with your professors, you're building now a reputation, number one, that your reputation is huge. But also, you're building leverage where, like, you might need a favor one day. In your season, I guarantee you might need a favor. You know, you left something in the gym. Can you please open it for me? Who the hell are you? Like, tomorrow, go tomorrow. If I was in that situation, maybe I'd go to someone in my network that I've built a relationship with, and they would help me out. You know, let's say there's a time where, you know, you're sick, right? A lot of coaches don't believe if you're sick. But if you have a relationship with them and they see the effort you're putting in the preseason and you genuinely tell them that you're sick, they're going to trust that. So these are just like quick examples of how relationships are going to fuel your in-season. But if you want to have a successful season, you can't just show up and be like, I'm here to play. You've got to build those relationships early and continue to build those relationships in season. Let's move to move number 3. So we talked about some preseason essentials here. From a body standpoint, I already talked about that. I was doing the cross country. On top of that, I was doing a lot of hypertrophy lifts, so I was really putting on a lot of load on my body. I was getting myself absolutely exhausted, so that now when I get into the season, I have a little bit of extra muscle, a little bit of more armor, but also now, like, I'm more durable. Heading into now my injury prevention, I was dealing with a lower back injury, so I actually took a few more off days than usual. But what I did was I'm just focused on getting healthy from a body standpoint. And then from an individual skill standpoint, I was watching a lot more film. I was getting more shots up. There was more accountability from the free throw line. You know, I was filling in my buckets of the domination runs where I was the best player on the floor to my super competitive runs where I was one of the worst players on the floor. And then the in-betweens where I'm just at my level. You know, and then I got in tune with my game. Just a few things there from a preseason essential standpoint, like I executed, and I'm really seeing the results. And I might be going on a tangent here with this, but I'm seeing results. And I know I'm not the player of the year yet, and, you know, the season didn't even begin, but we're going to look back at this video, and I'm going to have a successful season. When I was a freshman, I averaged 3 or 4 points a game, didn't play much. When I was a sophomore, I averaged 10 points a game. When I was a junior, I averaged 15 points a game. And then now as a senior, my goal is to average 20 points a game and become the player of the year. I'm seeing results. And so hopefully, when we look back at this video, we can say, it works. And that's the whole point of this. Because it works. I'm playing the best basketball of my life right now. And players do not understand this. Like, there's levels to this. You might be a player that just wants to make your team, that's cool. But if you're a player that wants to play at a high level, you have to have strategies in place. You have to have a game plan in place. You have to execute information and learn and improve and continue that improvement day over day over day over day. It absolutely shocks me that players have goals and no blueprint to get there. Doesn't make any sense. I can't say I want to be the player of the year, and I truly said it and wrote it down. I can't say that and not have a blueprint to achieve that. There's no way. And so I'm executing this blueprint. The exact blueprint I'm talking about right now. I'm executing it. I'm seeing extreme results where my coaches are happy with me, my teammates are happy with me, I'm feeling confident. I am so excited to show the world how much better I've gotten as a basketball player. Why don't you do it? I just don't get it. Why don't players apply it to their games? Are you lazy? Do you not believe in it? Just give it a try. Go through the program. Download the New York City Hoop School app. Scroll down and go through the preseason program. It'll take you 2 hours. You go through that program and tell me that you are not a better basketball player, I will get on a phone call with you one-on-one and say why. Because I did something wrong. But from my experience, this works. And we talked about I am statements earlier. I always say to myself, I am the testimonial. Because I know that there's results with it. Players don't want to do it, fine. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to get the results. And hopefully it can inspire you to do it. So let's see what happens. October 11th, 2023. Let's see how this goes this year. I want to average over 20 points a game, and I want to be the player of the year. I put together this pre-season blueprint for you guys to be successful. It's up to you to execute it, not me. I'm going to go about my season. I've executed this information. I had an extremely successful offseason. I have a blueprint on the app that I followed, I wrote down, I took it mentally, I had it on my desk, and it had exactly what I was doing in the offseason. I executed that. I had a successful offseason. I created a preseason program. I typed it out. I went through the preseason program. I had a super successful preseason. The season's about to begin in a few days. And I guarantee you when scrimmage number 1 comes and the games start up, I'm going to be performing at a very high level. I will achieve my goals. Why? Because there's a blueprint and I'm executing that information. I'm clearly extremely confident in where this is going. The reason why I'm sharing this is not to bloat about myself. It's to inspire you to actually execute. Just execute this information, right? I talked about move number 1, move number 2, move number 3. Get in tune with yourself. Okay? We talked about getting in tune with yourself. Then we talked about building relationships and then following the preseason essentials. 3 moves. We had 2 other moves. So move number 4 was all about going all in with your self-improvement, right? So we talked about the standards. We talked about the schedule. We talked about planning your upcoming moves. A few books that you could potentially read. Getting ahead in school, developing good habits, using reflection, stacking daily victories, going all in on your self-improvement, and there's a blueprint outlined for you. Then move number 5 was talking about your preseason mindset. So your preseason to in-season mindset is pretty much like, all right, what's your vision for your playing career? Okay, are you setting goals for this season? Are you creating expectations for this upcoming season? Right? You can clearly see that I am in the mindset that I am ready for my season. I would not be here feeling this confident if I didn't have a successful preseason, if I didn't have a successful offseason. That's what I'm trying to share with you. And so if you want to actually have a successful season this year, treat yourself like a businessman. Treat yourself like LeBron James or Michael Jordan. Treat yourself like a high-performance person. Follow a blueprint, execute the information, and watch the results you get. The results will take care of themselves if you execute. This journey that you're on, you don't have to be alone. There are so many players that struggle in season. I've been that person. I have been the person that was in high school struggling. I played freshman basketball. I played JV basketball where I got cut from varsity. I ended up playing JV. I played 2 years of varsity where my junior year I did not play. Then my senior year I played, but I struggled. I went to college. I was a Division III player. Okay, at Division III at Maritime College. Okay, I knocked heads with the coach. I didn't play, so that's why I averaged 3 points a game. I ended up transferring to schools to St. Joseph's where I had a brand new blank slate. I averaged 10 points a game as a sophomore. I had that improvement. Okay, then I averaged 15 points a game as a junior. I had that improvement. And now I'm looking at my senior year where I'm hopefully, and I expect to average over 20 points a game and become the player of the year. There is a progression through my career. And I look back and I'm like, all of these moments have prepared me for this. It's prepared me to have the best season of my life and also teach you. To teach you right now watching this video to help you have a successful season too. I could have very easily just done none of this, closed my laptop, and done nothing else and just go about my life. But no. I'm here outlining this information before the season even begins, talking about it because I want you to have this information for the preseason. But you have to execute. I've seen the difference. I've seen the results. I have been the testimonial to date, and the results have been amazing. Just execute it. Download the app, New York City Hoop School on the App Store. If you need to sign in, go to my Instagram. You get the free sign-in link. This is free, guys. I'm not looking to make money off you. Download it, sign in, go to the preseason program, watch the videos. Let me know the results you get. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is this. There's something called a driven by results mindset. The driven by results mindset. And I have a blueprint here that I want to exactly share with you guys. And it goes like this. We talk about being driven by results. When I was a player in high school in early years of college, I would say the first 4 to 5 years of when I really took training seriously, I was very process driven. I loved being in the gym. I loved working out, doing drills. But it didn't lead to results. As I talked about with my career, I was not getting a lot of results. And then I made a mindset switch. And I said, all I want is a result. I want results. Hence, the driven by results mindset was born. And so then, once I had that driven by results mindset, my last year and this year, I played my best basketball. Why? I believed that I could achieve the result. I focused on building towards that result every day. I planned every step in advance on that journey. There was execution that was necessary to get that result. I never gave up until that result was accomplished. I reflected during that process of pursuing the result. I was visualizing daily that result being accomplished. I achieved the results I wanted, and then I stayed driven by results, wanting more results. That was the mindset I adopted and applied to my life. And what ended up happening was I got results. And you know what? I'm going to continue to get results. Those results translate to on the court, to the business, and the relationships that I have. It was a mindset shift from just being process driven to results driven. So have a driven by results mindset as you go through your preseason. Go through the curriculum, actually execute the information, and have a driven by results mindset. I hope you have tons of special takeaways from this video. I'm truly saying this from the bottom of my heart. I want you to be successful. We give away all this information for free. There is an app out there. I always say it's like this. You know, this app is like having a Ferrari, but nobody understands it's a Ferrari. They think it's just a Honda. So people are just like, oh, it's just a regular Honda. This is a Ferrari. Okay? This program in there, this course is one course of many. There's tools for you to be a successful basketball player. It's right here for you at New York City Hoop School. So download the app. Be in touch with us. Comment. DM me. Text me. Do whatever you've got to do to reach your full potential. Be driven by results during your process. I appreciate you for watching this. And as always, stay driven by results.